This is the Power Producers Podcast, where we are refining and redefining the sales game.
Rule number one is you have to believe in yourself. You're the only one who doesn't think you belong in this appointment. The prospect has already validated your existence by scheduling time with you. Get it through your head you belong here, go in there, crush it, and close the deal.
A place where sales professionals can come to learn from other sales professionals and thought leaders that have mastered their craft.
The difference between a good salesperson and a best-in-class salesperson is only 2 minutes. By spending an extra 2 minutes on what you might think is a mundane task in the sales game, you separate yourselves from the pack, you grow your book of business, you close more deals, and you retain your accounts.
As well as their peers who are still striving for perfection to achieve their why.
I have a wife and 4 kids. Failure is not an option.
Real sales professionals, real stories, real results. Are you ready to feel the power?
Hey everybody, welcome to the Power Producers Podcast, where we are refining and redefining the sales game, and 2 things are going to happen today. I am going to buy a GMC Denali pickup truck probably before my head hits the pillow. Kyle, this has really accelerated since you left sales meeting.
Yeah, dude,
and
I've been gone for like an hour and 14 minutes.
I know, that's how quickly I move. And equally, if not more so exciting, we have Kat Ternes from AgencyZoom on the podcast to talk about all the cool stuff that they're doing and how they can help you and your agency increase revenue. So now, Kyle, fire away. You can ask whatever question you want.
Well, I mean, what's going on here? Like, what's the deal? Are the days of the 7 Series gone? Are we
So here's the thing, man. Like, I'm not happy with BMW at all. I'll put them on blast right now. I mean, I am driving.
Well, you've had a bazillion issues. Every time you take it over there, it's there for like 42 days.
No, at least at a bare minimum. And by the way, flagship vehicle, the 750 is by far their flagship vehicle. I should not be concerned. Now, listen, in all truthfulness to the audience, it turned over 100,000 miles, but those cars should be good for $250,000, man. Back in the old days, my 3 Series
if you're taking care of it, sure.
My 3 Series had 237,000 miles on it when I finally had the I haul junk guy come pick it up on the back of his flatbed.
How many?
Like 237,000.
That's
and not
solid.
Nearly the issues that I've had to deal with this one. Then, I had Hank Stewart from Gallus Stewart down here visiting last week, and he had his GMC. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done. The cockpit of this thing's nicer than my car at this point. So,
my buddy just picked up the big boy Sierra, the AT4. It's such a basic what AT stands for, all terrain, I think.
There you go.
But it is clean. So
they're nice. Look, this is not a truck that I'm gonna go to the Zach Brown concert in a couple of weeks and get respect from my peers because I'm driving the right truck. I might get it for my boots, but then they're going to put 2 and 2 together and realize I'm not out in like Bailey Hay or any of that. So it doesn't matter, man. It's functional. In when you own a home, you realize pretty quickly that if you're having to always call your buddy with a truck and ask him if you can run up and meet him at Lowe's to get what you need, you just need to go get a truck. And I've been saying this for a long time. So it's not like it's not like it's new. It's just manifesting itself now.
I'm with you. I'd love a truck. It's just not practical for me at this point where we're at. But
well, now that we got that out of the way, Kat, what's going on? Welcome. What are you driving these days, Kat? Can we interest you in a vehicle?
Yes, actually you can. So I turned my lease in July of last year. We're sitting here September. Geez.
Almost October.
Almost October, and I have not had a vehicle since. That said,
you did to work the other day or something.
I really do mean it, and I really do look like it. I walk to work. It's like 1.25 miles. I walk to and from work almost every day. Occasionally I get poured on, and that's really not pleasant. And I can ascribe to this truck life. My husband just went from an Audi A4, a nice car. Nothing like crazy, but a nice enough car. And he went and got himself a brand new Toyota Tacoma. So I'm also living this like false life of luxury occasionally. The difference between walking to work and being driven to work by your spouse while you can drink your coffee in this ritzy truck. Like it is
They're nice.
If not nicer than the Audi A4. So yeah, I can ascribe to the truck life. I can't really hold anyone accountable to like what vehicle they choose because anything is better than the Birkenstocks I walk here in.
And where are you?
She's in Columbus.
Yeah.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Like I'm surprised you don't have those. You guys don't have those scooters, the electric scooters.
We do, but what happens is
they're all over campus.
Yeah, they're near campus and stuff, but what ends up happening is the scooters are like a little bit from my house, so I walk like 2 blocks, and then they just outlawed the scooters on High Street, which if anyone knows anything about Columbus or Ohio State, nationwide's there's Ohio State in the southernmost portion, and then there's Nationwide Plaza, which is the start of downtown, and there's a north-south road, High Street, that runs the whole distance. They outlawed the scooters on High Street, and my work is on one side of High Street, and my home is on the other side of High Street. So I walk 2 blocks, I get to a scooter, I ride the scooter for 3 blocks, and then it just grinds to a halt and makes this god-awful noise. Like alarm, it's embarrassing. I go to work at I walk to work normally at 7 a.m. So I'm like waking up every snuggly, tired little woman and walking her dog with this little scooter just losing its mind. So yeah,
I was just up off of High Street a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
That's like the grocery carts in a bad neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They have that same thing. They have the boot on the one back wheel.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like that never existed back in my days of running grocery stores. I got crushed on my shopping cart budget every year because of so many of them getting stolen.
I hadn't been to an Aldi in years, and I didn't remember that they have that little quarter thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't even get a grocery cart when I was there because I didn't have my quarter with me.
That's actually the least of your concerns at Aldi because then you have to bag your own groceries.
I just can't. I can't deal with that.
Well, the good thing was that I didn't have my grocery cart is I walked in and I picked up the first empty box I could find, which there are plenty. And I used that as my grocery cart and my grocery bag. And it was what you needed to go camping. I went on a weekend, trip, one overnight, stay in the tent, cook some hot dogs and brats and stuff and call it a day. So it was what you want to leave behind at a campsite, and it wasn't that much food, but I didn't have my quarter. I didn't get a grocery cart, and I carried things around in a cardboard box.
Anytime anybody says anything to me at all about camping, all I can think about is We're the Millers at this point. It's
such a good one. Underrated movie, honestly.
Oh, dude, I love that movie so much. It's definitely in my top 10, I think.
It is funny, and they don't have to try to be funny. It's not like a forced funny. It's just funny.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I'm such a drama movie snob. I really struggle with comedies, but We Are the Millers. Definitely love Mrs. Doubtfire. That's just too traditional of one.
That's kind of dramatic too, though.
It is.
Yeah, that's true. There's just a good amount of. This is a really weird one. If anyone is listening to this and has watched or seen this movie, please contact me. You're my new best friend. I don't know what kind of award you get for that, but we'll figure it out later. Hunt for the Wilder People by Taika Waititi. Totally weird movie. Very funny. Not dramatic. It's I don't want to say it's a cult.
Can't say I've heard of that one, Kat.
It's so good. So we'll see. If there's any listeners that are killing it in commercial, like insurance, and have seen that movie, I need more friends, obviously. So please contact me.
I'm gonna actually go see if I can watch that.
I'm sure it's on every streaming thing known to man. He has a couple.
Lord knows we have them all.
Yeah, same. My husband talked about cutting cable a few years back. I was like, oh God, thank God. Now we just have every single other package known to man, and we probably spend twice as much as we do on cable.
Yeah, absolutely,
for sure.
Just ignorant. So great job.
But at this point, the thing that's nice about it is you get what you want when you want it, right? And so it's a matter of convenience. So if I want to watch The Sopranos again, I don't have to wait until it rolls around. I can go watch it.
Which, by the way, looking forward to Saints of Newark, I think is what it is.
Is that the prequel?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Gandolfini's son is playing him, a younger him, which is pretty cool. So that comes out on Friday. So I'm looking forward to that.
Not a sponsor.
Awesome.
Would love them as a sponsor, but not a sponsor. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
No kidding. So, Kat, talk a little bit about your background, because you've been at AgencyZoom how long now?
Just about 2 years. I started consulting with guys a little bit before getting there, because I was just winding things down at the startup I was at previously. So I started helping the guys on things, but just about 2 years now. I came in originally as our vice president of sales, and then we had a marketing guy who the co-founders just were struggling to get involved in the independent channel, and they didn't necessarily have a lot of time to sit down and coach him. So they're like, Kat, can you hang out with our marketing guy too? I'm like, sure. And then it went full funnel, all customer relationships, someone of that team reports up to me. So now success and support are in my domain as well. So it's been a very fast-paced, very fun 2 years. When I got here, we had worked with about 1,700 agencies, and we just crossed 7,200.
Wow.
So
there you go.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been and getting into the independent channel is what I came here to do, and doing that has been a coming home moment. I have been in InsurTech most of my professional career, and the first InsurTech I was at was PNC. So same, customer base. Had met a lot of you guys, and it was very enjoyable and very fun. They were acquired, and I moved on to the middle ground one, and that was Untitled Insurance. Still InsurTech, still in the independent agency context, just title insurance, which some similarities, some differences, and then came back here. So yeah, it's been 2 years of coming home, and COVID thrown in there, so not getting to see all of my friends right away, and not getting to use the conference strategy, and now things are coming back together along with us, growing at the rate we are. It's a lot of fun, and it's a really unique opportunity that I can't imagine. If you'd asked me when I first came here if I wanted to do this, I would have said yes. And now I can't imagine have ever said no and taken any of the other opportunities that I had.
Funny how that works, huh?
Yeah, it's a good thing though. I think that means you picked the right organization. So I'm very happy.
I think one of the things that surprised me, and I just found out about this recently, I didn't realize that you guys worked with captives too. And what you just said basically leads me to believe you started with captives and then moved into independent. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So, and that was them bringing me on, was all right, we're making a concerted effort towards our independence and driving our product, which what our product is probably going to help you guys better understand how it was agile to actually go from captive to independent. So yeah, our co-founder is was a phenomenally successful Allstate agent. And he started, got in touch with a gentleman who had been his friend, who's our CEO now, Mo, who's another co-founder. They got in touch and just started working on how can we automate and build consistency in his crazy, top 50 in the country, high growth Allstate agency. So what am I doing wrong? What is Allstate not providing to do better? So they started just solving problems that he was having in his agency. And then that grew crazy fast in the Allstate world, which gave us a really unique opportunity to be bootstrapped. So never had to take in VC funding, never had to take in any external investment. It created a really good, healthy bedrock of amazing agencies. And then what happened is a lot of those agents stopped working with Allstate, and they were going independent. And they're like, well, why wouldn't I use this product that is so familiar to me? It still works. And it was small in its use case at the time, but being automation, it was able to grow and evolve very quickly. It wasn't marketing automation. It wasn't onboarding. It wasn't retention or service or sales. It was purely cleanly automation. And yes, some of those tasks are obviously identified and compartmentalized, but that helped it a lot to grow and take off at the rate it did. So yeah, we got our start when of those 1,700 when I first got here, 1,500 of them were captive agents.
Wow.
Interesting.
Similar to Lightspeed Voice. I mean, not necessarily identical, but I know that they started heavy in Allstate. Shoot, I've known Brad Fuller since it was him and one other person, and they were operating out of the incubator up at the University of Florida, the Sid Martin Biotech Incubator, and lost track of him for 10 years, and then all of a sudden he's providing our VoIP system now.
Yeah, back on the kicking ass. He's awesome. I love Steve. I just got done spending some time with Steve Moore. at American Agents Alliance. So that was really fun.
Yeah, because he left San Antonio, went to Vegas, and then went from Vegas to California. Steve Moore literally lives like Kyle. He lives in Fox Hollow. He's like 5 minutes from my other office that Kyle operates out of, and we never see each other at all, ever. Like the only time I ever see Steve Moore is on the road somewhere.
Yeah. I don't think he's ever home. He said when he was getting on the plane, I think he was on Sunday. I don't remember. I think it was Sunday. I'm not sure that he flew out Saturday, but I think Sunday morning he was heading home for the first time in like 15 to 20 some days. Because he was at.
I can't do that, man. Like I'm leaving for 3 days at the end of this week, and it's like I don't even really want to go.
I don't know how I ended up in sales because I don't actually like people. I don't like new people. Like it's
same. No.
I
you
totally can relate.
Me.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I think we get to the difference is we kind of get to choose the people that we're working with, I guess. But I'm with you.
Yeah,
people annoy the hell out of me.
Exactly the opposite when you're in retail because you can't control who's coming in the front door.
Right, exactly.
So you're forced to deal with everybody, which is why I don't deal with everybody now.
True.
Yeah. I'm loyal to like a very small group of people. And like once I'm in my group, my little like knit like team, or if I'm in a room and like speaking and stuff like that, that's a little different because that like becomes my little ecosystem, if you will. But to just stand at a trade show, we have some guys here that are the best I've ever seen at it, and they love it. Like they love going to the golf tournament and having no friends there and golfing on a random team. They love being at the trade show and seeing who can get the most business cards. And I'm standing there and I'm just like, when can I not stand in these high heels? When can I stop smiling at all of you? And is this over? Like it's not me. I turn it on for like the effort of my job, but it's not me, naturally speaking.
It's fair.
Yeah, I'm not the trade show guy by any stretch. I absolutely despise that. And I would show up to golf on a random team, but for all the wrong reasons. Kyle would absolutely love hidden cameras if I showed up to be that player to be named later on somebody's scramble.
Absolutely.
I'm the worst golfer ever.
I was really proud of our guy. We had him go out a day early because he wanted to golf. And we're like, yeah, go ahead. And I didn't know how good he was or not. And he won the longest drive contest. And then it turned into this incredibly awkward interaction where another guy came over and was like dancing around with the $100 bill that he won in front of our booth the next day.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, this looks so awkward and so goofy to anyone else as an onlooker.
Hopefully alcohol was involved because otherwise that is a little weird.
Yeah, he was. I mean, they had already spent, the whole day golfing together and stuff. So they thought it was like super funny. I just wasn't in on the joke. And again, I'm not a person. So I'm just standing there awkwardly, like looking around like, who's happening? Like, okay.
Yeah, no kidding. So talk a little bit about I'm going to assume that pretty much everybody that listens to this has at least heard of AgencyZoom before, but why don't you, for those who haven't, in the rare case that there's somebody that's crawled out from under a rock but yet has the technology to listen to a podcast, why don't you explain a little bit about what you guys do and what your goal is in the marketplace right now and who you're looking to cater to?
Yep. So we string on about 200 new agencies a month. We have cut that back with our new pricing plan to about 150.
Nothing wrong with that. You need to charge what you're worth, and I think you guys did not charge enough.
Yeah, we weren't charging enough. It got us a lot of market share, it got us a lot of support, and we still have our entry-level package is still the same price as the old one was. But I think that helps people think about what do we do. So our beginning level is sales, and it is sales automation. It's custom pipelines. It's that you can have an automated experience that's actually catered to the prospect. So rather than it being a campaign, the lead source impacts what first email that prospect would get. They're a VIP would impact that. The line of business, personal or commercial, impacts that. And then what stage they go into. Do they come in as a warm lead, a hot lead, a cold lead? That all impacts it too. So the curation is what I'll call it. To how we handle automation and sales has helped us create that product in and of itself. And that, like I said, we didn't change the pricing on that. That still is a lot of what many agencies had. We grandfathered our old agencies in, and they're at, $99 a month on that one. So that's super affordable. And then our next one, you get into done enough sales now to grow your business that retention suddenly becomes a whole subsect of your business, and certainly your renewal process and everything to that effect, that it can be a distraction from hitting your sales goals. So that next module up has sales and retention as the premise of how the automation would run around the policies and everything of that sort. And then the top of the line, all the bells and whistles, is the sales, the retention, and the servicing of those policies. So by the time you have sold and retained enough policies that service is the distraction, or service is an area that you need to watch your, for lack of a better term, cost of goods sold. Am I over servicing something to the effect that I'm no longer profitable no matter what I do? That's when an agency, it would make sense for them to pick up the service center, and they can look at the SLAs around carriers, around claims versus service. A lot of us don't separate that enough in the industry, and then we are hit, by a natural disaster or something, and we're left upside down on it. So yeah, it gives them versatility. The product grows with their book, and you still come out, all the fancy bells and whistles at $250 a month. And then we've been really fortunate. The thing that's been a lot of fun lately is we built an enterprise product, and that lets all of the different members of networks, clusters, aggregators, you name it, use AgencyZoom in their own autonomous way. So David, if you want to run it one way, Kyle wants to run another way, and I have my own little shtick to my niche market, to how I want to run personal lines, because it's an afterthought, or it is a big portion of my book. But then somebody above us, some higher power says, well, we do need to check in and see what Kat's up to today. She causes a lot of problems. They can do that at any given time and provide organizational support, regional success. They can look and say, well, David is only 4 hours north of you. Why don't you guys go get lunch at some point, talk about his commercial strategy if you're trying to learn it, Kat, and spend some time together. So that ability to aggregate live data across all three of those business units and create actual feedback. You're outgrowing your AMS. You need a different VoIP. You're not using enough automation in this or that area of your business. That has been really, really fun, and that has moved the needle for so many organizations. And that's been my new pet project, and I love it extra.
Are you dealing with more personal lines or commercial lines centric agencies? What's the makeup look like?
Our new agencies coming on now, because I think the size that we've gotten to, are leaning a little bit more commercial now. Okay. Certainly the ones that, and this is a confirmation bias, but the ones that garner my interest in my time as, a couple levels removed from the everyday employee here, they're leaning a little bit more commercial now, because they have the ability to liability, set of automation that only runs to premiumed policies of a certain worth. They can just get so much more granular, and that person can be in that automation with their retention automation on their currently bound policy. So it's leaning in more and more that way. But I still have a lot of hometown agencies that are a 60-40 split either way. And the fun part there is they can look at Kyle as a business owner that maybe is a general contractor, and Kyle as the head of his household too. So the contact relational abilities there between the personal commercial divide, it's a lot smoother than what it is in a normal campaign management system, because again, we're using automation instead of just campaigns. So that helps a lot too for us to be a little bit more versatile, and that our agencies kind of spread the gambit.
So I'm interested on the service piece, because you and I have talked offline before, and you know that we use HubSpot in the agency, and I've got sales, service, and marketing. Although not identical silos, it sounds similar to the needs that can be met, but without, I would suspect, without the level of customization that I have available to me at HubSpot, which, by the way, I don't think anybody in the insurance industry who has an agency needs to run out and buy HubSpot. I'm the first person to say that, because I'm hearing $250 a month, and I know what my HubSpot bill is, and I know what my bill for David Lefevre is to make HubSpot do what I want it to do. But talk a little bit about that, because I think that there's a lot of people who don't realize the power of a CRM tool from looking at how service is handled in the agency. And quite frankly, HubSpot to me does a better job of managing that stuff than what the agency management systems do.
Sure.
So talk a little bit about that service module and what that looks like for the end user, because I think that's often overlooked in the CRM conversation. Everybody wants to talk about automation.
Fair.
Everybody wants to talk about drip marketing campaigns and all of, the lead management, all of the blocking and tackling. But when you can integrate service in with sales, I think it provides a more seamless experience for your internal team and your client without them really realizing what's happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you can put service right next to renewals and you can put it right next to a cross-sell opportunity, it means a whole heck of a lot more that I got the cold shoulder from someone who just had a cruddy claims experience 3 months ago. That means a lot more about my sales process or about my service process realistically than it does about the inaccuracy or my need to go rebuild a sales process. So yes, having all of those activities brought together and in-house is, to me, incredibly important. We use HubSpot, admittedly, as a software company, like through and through, guys. We are.
I don't know of one who doesn't, honestly. Yeah. I mean,
I've been on Salesforce the whole rest of my career. This is my first time on HubSpot, and on Salesforce as a CRM, truly what we think of as the CRM. You have to go use a sales enablement platform, which is what tells you to do the right things in Salesforce, because Salesforce is this amazing record keeper, much more like our agency management systems than it is the actual, I came in and I have things I need to do today. What are the most pressing? And that gets back into like what HubSpot does well. HubSpot falls in the middle very well. And I would say we're more like a lightweight HubSpot. I don't have custom forms. I can't throw up landing pages.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because that's what I was thinking, and I didn't want it to come across the wrong way, because I don't think that you're a lightweight solution at all. But again, going back to look at who the constituency is that would typically be moving. In many cases, their first CRM is HubSpot really where they want to end up? And the answer is absolutely not.
I'll use a mutual friend too that I don't think he minds, Chris Paradiso, being a phenomenal example of someone who had HubSpot and is one of the best marketers, like through and through, multi-channel, balancing all these agencies in our whole industry. Like he's just an absolute expert at everything he does. And he's particular about almost everything he does. I don't know that many people that have brand guides. David, I'm sure you do, but a lot of teams don't. He's just that good at it.
I will go ahead and concede Chris Paradiso is far more eccentric than I am.
That's fair. I'll take that too. He is. I love him. But yeah.
But a good friend, definitely a good friend of mine and somebody that I respect. So that is not a knock. It's just with Chris, it better fit the box, right?
Yep. So,
my box is just a little bigger.
Very true. He's just a great example of someone that, by us partnering with then even fellow insurtechs, website vendors from like a in theory, irrelevant, Forge 3, like any number of them, we can take their custom landing pages and connect them directly into AgencyZoom. So when an agency is already particular and exceptional with their brand and they already have landing pages, instead of taking a HubSpot form and throwing it up on a single color little thing, I can take my intake abilities, again, as an automation platform, and connect that more so into the beautiful branded standard that they already get. Being specific is my advantage, and being agnostic is HubSpot's advantage. They get a little further up funnel than I have to partner up funnel to accomplish things. But getting back to kind of the root of what you said there around service, it's again that concept of what's automation versus what's a campaign, and like what's automation meant to do. Automation is meant to make your team more consistent and thus more effective, and to give them more time in their day back to spending it with your customers. So to get into, I know after a claim that was filed with the carrier that I want my virtual assistant to follow up a couple times to schedule me a meeting, or I know I'd like to do XYZ 5 days after and check with them about their satisfaction. Those are things that instead of being concerned that somebody is not sending an automated text to check in, somebody is not sending an email to make sure that the case is closed, our system does that. And then it gets those call tasks or very humanized tasks of a incredibly personalized email in front of a producer, a CSR, a virtual assistant, a particular business unit, depending again on how big a team is. And I think that's a huge portion of where we think of the difference again between like campaign management systems or CRMs being very flat and very wide versus ours being very precise around automation, focusing in on your team and your customers' relationships. And I mean, that is the CR of CRM, but it's just done in a different manner.
Go ahead, Kyle.
No, I was just going to kind of agree with the whole service thing being left out of the equation a lot. I think everybody is so focused on bringing in the accounts, and I mean, that you should. That's how you generate the revenue and push forward. But, you know, in order to grow effectively, you've got to have something set up on the service side. It can't just be running around and, you know, having a case-by-case situation going on, because you can't grow and scale effectively like that. And I think a lot of people don't put enough emphasis on that. So that's a good point.
No, I think the other place too that CRMs. Go ahead, Kat. You were going to say something, and I'm going to go a different direction, so I don't want to do that.
I'm tempted to not say it because I was going to precede it with this may be an unpopular opinion.
No, go ahead.
To also know what carriers are not truly making you the money you think they are. You know, we hear about using service centers for personal lines. We're encouraged to do so, but we don't really understand the ramification of losing 2 percentage points on our commission. And especially, you know, whether we like it or not, personal lines is more transactional. We don't understand the ramifications of that if we aren't tracking how much work goes into servicing, taking care of claims on a policy. So for me, as we come into all these 60-40 agencies and they ask me, what do I have to do to grow into commercial or to grow my personal lines faster? You have to know what it's going to cost you to attract a client and keep a client. And if we're spending $10 to save 2, 3 years into the relationship, that's not appropriate. You've still saved $6 across your 3 years and you've spent 10. It does not come out to make sense mathematically speaking. And I think a lot of agency owners, and this isn't to their fault, but I think we sometimes forget that we're running a business. Like, we do sell a product. It is weird to think of it that way, but it is at the end of the day a product. And we are, you know, capitalizing on relationships. But those are all things that can be, and there's a numeric value attached to them. And I think we forget about that. And if we don't track service, we're not close to doing the whole picture to be able to run our agencies as a business.
So my thing is, I think that there's a lot of stuff that agents, when you're talking about even just from the retention piece, and we talked about this when we were at Paradisa's mastermind up in Boston, not that long back at, actually it has been a while ago now, beginning of April. Hard to believe it's been almost 6 months. But around claims time and the automations that can happen there and having things go out to your client in terms of immediate communication, but then staying in contact with them over the course of the claim and then ultimately soliciting them for an NPS on how you performed relative to that claim so that you can gauge what people think of you. Because that's really, in my opinion, everybody's going to put their best behavior on to get an account closed, right? But when the rubber meets the road is when that policy has to pay out because something happened. And I mean, that's what we sell, is a promise to pay. How do we execute that? How well have we stayed in touch with our client? And it really an important part of it, and I know that the carriers aren't going to want to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyhow, separating your agency from the carrier, and so that you can be the conduit without necessarily being grouped together. Because, you know, in many cases, and I've got friends dealing with this right now, you know, down in New Orleans and everything, when you get that level of claims that come through at one time, it's tough enough as an agent, but I mean, that carrier is getting hammered too, and you need to make sure that your client realizes that if they need you to you're there. You're 100% there for them. You're going to push the envelope to try and get things done, and they need that advocate. But what you don't want is for your client to think that if the carrier's stalling, that somehow has something to do with your agency. So it's a delicate balance that you have to walk. Obviously, we want to have good relationships with carriers as agents because that's how we make our money. But we also need to have good relationships with our clients. And I think that using automation in the CRM in the right way in a claims time is huge.
I want to point out too, you mentioned something in there that I think the level of listener that you guys have acquired over the years would find value out of it is our industry has been talking about Net Promoter for a decade now. We've been pretty good about it because we heard our carriers promote it and we said, your Net Promoter should be different than your CSAT. That's where getting further into service and really tracking around your claims, endorsements, even auto ID cards, just general service, every little thing starts to matter because to your point, David, you probably have a CSAT and an NPS and yours is probably muddled together today. Your NPS should be, if Kyle is walking down a street in Columbus and I say, what's your opinion on David Carothers? What's your opinion on commercial? It should be his opinion on a scale of 1
Garbage.
to 10.
Yeah,
garbage on all fronts.
It should be uninterrupted. It should be unappended by any interaction. And then your CSAT should be oriented around all of your people and all of your tasks, all of your carriers. So
what's a CSAT for those who don't know?
Yes, CSAT, raising your hand. Thank you, Kyle. A CSAT goes out right after interaction. So NPS go out as far away from anything logical as you could ever imagine. Like you want it to be that caught off guard moment. CSAT should go out 4 or 5 days after interaction. So somebody has a claim and they filed it and you think it's all done. Service work is done. They requested a proof of insurance. They requested an ID card payment, and you take care of that for them. And that should more reflect your person and that particular process. The question is different. Like NPS is, what do you think about us? How likely are you actually to refer us?
Got it.
1 to 10.
You know who's using NPS effectively right now? The Atlanta airport in their bathrooms. Blew my mind when I came out of the bathroom in Atlanta and looked, and there's an NPS screen right there for how you would rate the condition of the bathrooms. It blew my mind, and I'm thinking there are agencies.
So you could click on it on 8 out of 10 or whatever.
You could go up. It's the 3. It's the red, yellow, green kind of deal. I think if I remember, I actually took a picture of it with my phone because I'm going to put content out around that in the next week or so. But I'm thinking there's agencies out there that aren't even doing this, and the flipping Atlanta airport is not worried about the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
When did an airport?
The question is, did they have a cologne guy in the bathroom?
No, nobody wants to get on a plane with someone reeking of cologne. God help them. That actually, what you're pointing out there, David, I just went into the bathroom and I'm interacting in that is what your guys' listeners are good enough to do this, certainly. That is CSAT. Yeah. When I ask you, I say, God, I'm so sick and tired of flying. I hate it. It's a pain in the ass. I keep flying American into Charlotte. And when you speak up and say you should fly Delta into Atlanta, that's your NPS. So the concept of the overall airport, the quality of all of the different airlines that fly in and out, the food court is open again, that is NPS. And the fact that we would just communicate about it on a casual basis, like word of mouth is a little more attached to NPS. Performance in a particular discipline is CSAT. Like that bathroom survey is CSAT, and it's me coming out and being, that was not satisfying. And whoever the janitor is that's in charge of this bathroom right now is not doing their job. Or you need to improve the stalls because they're all broken because I've run my carry-on for them 1,000 times. It's more identifiable. CSAT is very identifiable. If I could make this improvement really quickly, I would advocate that more agencies should CSAT before NPS. You can make a change. You can respond clearly. I could improve a relationship with an adjuster from a carrier. I could coach a CSR on a CSAT. NPS, the reason I hate the Charlotte airport, could be the bathroom, could be the food court, it could be long wait times, it could be them not having it on the chair, it could be some snotty woman who like would not let me upgrade to first class, you know. There's too many variables there, and that's your NPS.
And then my man Ron Schroyer comes in and says, "Hey, I've been listening to you talking about the bathrooms."
Yeah, then we have like an RES Analytics, which is like, why is so offended personally speaking about bathrooms? Can't you just get on your flight?
Yeah, no kidding. His episode dropped this morning, so he's fresh on my mind. But
I should have listened to that. I love that team. I think the interesting thing will be when you start to see agents take a sales process, a retention process, a service process, and then you start to take those consumer behaviors and intertwine them all together, and you start to figure out like what really makes a customer stick. I present on this last week. 80% of customers when they left were satisfied, and most of them are willing to come back in the 60 to 90 day window. Very few, like the honeymoon phase of whoever else they went to, and they are willing to come back in that 60 day window. If you miss that window, things aren't so pretty. You know, they get sticky with that new person, but that's where the honeymoon phase is over. I would say, you know, we have a full win back module, and we encourage our agencies to use it and go after it. You know, there's the automation there for that, and very few of them are waiting for that window. We wait till their next state. So yeah, to take something that's as cool as RES Analytics, that Donna product, or Don's doing, and to say, you might not want to go after all of them in that 60 to 90 day window, but here are your most profitable ones that you didn't have to service a lot, had a quick sales cycle, and actually did like you. They had the consumer behavior like to come back around. To have those 4 elements inform you of what customers are worth winning back, what customers are worth keeping on the book. I think that's going to be phenomenal, and that's going to set.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's going to set the local hometown mid-market agency from their competitors real quick.
So my next question is, with all of the stuff that you guys have already done to expand the product, obviously you can't tell us everything, but talk a little bit about what you see coming next. I mean, tease them a little bit.
Yeah, I would encourage everybody to look up Gong. Grammarly, there's a couple others out there, Crystal Knows, Owler. Those are all companies that have extremely phenomenal development in the sales and data intelligence environment. And when we look to a partnership with a RES Analytics or a Don, and we say, you know, you're incredibly valuable partners, what else can we present? What can we give you that helps you be more successful and tell us more about those consumers? Other platforms that would enhance the data that Donna and RES would have alongside the information, voice recordings, production as we speak, all those types of things, into even their typing and their, you know, exchange. I think that's the route that we're going to go. It's my intention, you know, as we work with agencies, to keep going further and further into providing a automated experience that feels tailored to every single customer, and every employee begins to become more successful what they're truly good at. There's some fun stuff coming out around like gamification that's, you know, pretty well through the pipeline. You know, that's fun to like put up good numbers and have those celebratory moments with the team. But I think the thing that'll really continue to improve the industry is all of the little things that we can't put our finger on makes a good CSR or makes a good producer. Beginning to actually track those and provide them out as suggestions for employees, suggestions to process for agency owners, and then getting them right in front of the customers. So I think that's the wave of the future, if you will, for the agencies or team.
I can tell you that the number one thing I hear about AgencyZoom is the celebration when a new sale is made, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, confetti. It's just everywhere. Confetti. We have a mobile app, so like, you know, we how many of our agencies are commercial, and they're just, you know, walking around and they're AgencyZoom off with their phone, and it's completely built for Android, iPhone. You know, it's not just a web thing. It's, you know, built for their
So you
phone.
get like a text that says a deal was closed, and then the confetti goes off. Like,
yeah, you'll get a text that says like David's right, like David just sold this policy, and Kyle, you're 5% behind today, or he just surpassed you on the leaderboard, and when he moves it to sold, if he's sitting down in his lap,
and then it blows a bunch of confetti in my face to just piss me off more.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's like the fun part right now. I've twisted X's arm enough. I think now it's going to play your favorite song. So you're going to be able to give us the little YouTube link to like Eye of the Tiger, some just random stupid bullshit. And it's
all I do is win, win, no matter what.
Exactly that. So yeah,
I would throw my phone.
Can I just ask a really quick question? Why does DJ Khaled like announce that this song is DJ Khaled in the branding of every song?
He's always screaming.
Knows.
Yeah, I think everybody knows his voice. I'd like to believe he could say, "This is DJ," and you just like, I know who it is, man.
That's his thing, man. That's his shtick. Super annoying.
It is. I have too weird of taste in music to have any feedback on what is a good or bad brand in music, so I have to stay out of that.
Well, you've already said Birkenstock, so you're leading me down a road where I can kind of pigeonhole you a little bit. I've got to believe you've probably listened to a little Rusted Root in your day.
I don't know. What is that? I know.
I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar either.
What?
Well, now you need, Kat. Now you need to go listen to Rusted Root and tell me how accurate I am. They played my 21st birthday party though, and they were a pretty big deal back then.
I'm interested. I'm very interested. That sounds about up my alley. My husband gets so upset when he gets into his car and his truck and I've borrowed it. He gets so upset as to what's on the radio because he's a DJ Khaled person, likes like recent pop music, EDM, and I am listening to like weird folk from like 1952. And he's like, where did this come from? So,
how many times have you listened to Certified Lover Boy, Dave?
I have absolutely no clue what that even is.
The new Drake album?
No.
Absolutely.
My kids probably all have it.
Because it's about 53 times for me.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's right.
Kyle,
well, Kat, what have we missed? Like, as we're going through this, what have we missed about AgencyZoom that you want everybody to know before I let you go?
You know, this is like a selfish plug, but I'm so proud of it and I love it. We built a internship cohort in the whole state of Ohio. We went to all of our customers in Ohio and emailed them and said, do you have a college age student? Or would you like to tell your customers that you have an internship for college age students to turn what is a less than fun industry, like InsurTech and insurance doesn't seem that fun probably to college students. But we built a cohort of 9 students that are all over Ohio. They come in once a week and they're doing the coolest stuff. And I say that one, I'm like super proud of them and I love them already. And they probably are listening to the Drake album with you, Kyle. But also because it's a mentality around how we operate as a business that we're going to solve a problem no matter what. So we procrastinated recruiting our support team a little bit, thinking we'd be back to the office sooner than we were. We got to, a 3-minute wait time on a chat, and I just didn't love that. So it came time to recruit, and it was so hard to recruit the talent I wanted to be talking to agents every day. That's speaking to you guys all day, every day. That's part of our product. So it became really, when I'm overly psycho about it, it became difficult. So I said, I'm never going to have this problem again. It took me from April 20th to the middle of July, so a solid 3 months, to recruit 5 people that I really love, excited to have join our organization. I said I was never going to have that problem again. So that problem solving mentality and like it coming through, I got to make a really cool cohort. So having great resources and having great agency partners at our back, you know, they have like stepped up to the plate and even video chatted in with the cohort. And of course, you know, they love that. The, you know, cohort interns love it. But just this mentality that there's not only one way to solve a problem. And then that's been, like I said, embodied in our recruiting and with that team. It has been really, really fun.
I think that's pretty cool, though. I mean, using interns is a great way to get a completely different perspective in a very stale industry, and we're batting about 500 here.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
We had one that was really, really good, and then we have another one that just wasn't into it, but apparently loves the insurance industry because ended up at a competing agency. So
it's the best.
We have 9, and they get their first 360 review this week. So they're having a rotation experience that they do a month with sales, and then a month with and then a month with customer teams. And they're getting their first 360 this week. So it'll be really interesting to see as these nerfy little kids how they take their first level like executive feedback. That side, if we invite them to a second semester with the cohort, we're giving them full-time employment. So that's how I created this little band of, you know, excited, well-informed, now, you know, super tailored recruiting pool to solve that problem that we originally.
I think that's a great way to do it.
Yep. And it's, like I said, it's really, really scalable. They're coming in 10 hours a week, each of them. So obviously having 9 is a big price tag, but I think an agency could reasonably do it pretty fast. To your point, David, learn a lot, you know, just see things through a different lens and catch on to things they might like and things they might not for $150 a month, you know, a week. So it's pretty fun. And I've enjoyed it, and I'm hoping it solves long-term problems for us. But yeah, there's a no real problems mentality here. We're going to figure it out and solve it is, I guess it's a good way to put a selfish plug-in for AgencyZoom that we might be a little bit weird, but we really like tackling the big problems and, you know, getting into the intricacies and figuring stuff out.
So here's the $1 million question. Where do they go to get a demo and hear more? I mean, been pretty transparent on pricing, so that shouldn't be a roadblock at this point.
Yeah, if you can't get your money back on AgencyZoom, like, call me and I'll pay for it for you. You're just doing something wrong and we should spend time together. It's not difficult. AgencyZoom.
Hey, Kat, here's what they have to do. They have to take the budget away from sending out calendars at Christmas time and move it into having a CRM. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah. If you are still sending out a calendar at Christmas and you are interested in using AgencyZoom and you hear this, come to me, you know, sign up for AgencyZoom, come to me and I will build you an electronic calendar that will go out to all of your customers at Christmas. It will look beautiful. If anyone has used each page flip, it's really, really cool. It's very interactive. They can have a calendar with all of your photos on it. Send them a text on Christmas Day from the selling producer saying, hey, Merry Christmas. I hope, David, you and Kyle have a wonderful day with your family. I will one-up you on if you're still sending out a calendar, I'll help you. I'm happy to help you.
I feel like a Florida Risk Partners David Carothers featured calendar would be fantastic. Just you dressed up in different seasonal gear for each month.
Oh, yeah. And just imagining if you guys have ever seen those like dancing elves or something that was like back in like the early 2000s.
There you go. You could be Santa and I'll be an elf.
Jib Jab. Yeah, Jib Jab was the site.
Yeah, we just need a dance elves Jib Jab.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, go to agencyzoom.com. It's agencyzoom.com. So go check it out. The pricing is right there. The product is right there. So if you're part of a network, a cluster, an aggregator, we may have a discount that's already associated to your group. You can see some of the people that are part of our agency advisory council. Really cool people there. You guys, we nominated the first 15, and now our agencies nominate everybody for that. And the people that are already on it vote and stack up those nominations, and the top 5 get on, and Kat has nothing to do with it. So it's eliminated the confirmation bias of how our product grows, from me only talking to the David, the Kyles, and the other savants of the industry. So it's helped democratize that product growth process, but you can check those people out. You can see a demo on there for your agency management system. We integrate with most of the major players out there. So you can see that there, and, you know, just explore at your own risk. Who knows what you're going to end up into. It's a rabbit hole site, but that's kind of why it's fun. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, really appreciate you coming on today. It's been cool chatting with you, like hearing what you guys are doing. And I know that you're making a difference in the agencies that you're in. And for those agencies that you're not in, you should be making a difference. But
I think we still help. We had 20 agencies at this last conference that we didn't work with. We built them all custom recruiting profiles because that's what I had spoke on that morning. Recruiting and growing sales teams. And I said, even if you're not with us, you know, happy to put the effort in to make the industry better. So I hope so. That'll be good.
I think I'm going to title this episode "Push Past the Calendar."
Oh yeah, for sure.
I haven't figured it out yet.
Yes.
Should be calendar related.
It should be
absolutely.
Bringing back to Deb.
Calendars, confetti. I don't know. I have to come up with 3 C's.
And certified lover boy.
There you go. That's it. That's done.
Done.
I got to write that down so I don't forget it. Anyhow, Kat, I'm going to let you go because we've been a little bit over time. I really appreciate you blocking out the time, especially after a late flight. Thank you for setting us straight on the difference between NPS and
CSAT.
CSAT.
Yeah.
Took notes.
Not the centimeter, though. It's not Schroyer's centimeter.
No, that's the holy grail. That's what you want. You want to use 3 of them to be the best of the best.
There you go. Listen, hope you have a great day. Hope everybody reaches out that is in need, and certainly we'll catch up with you at Innovation, if not sooner.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Have a great afternoon.
You've been listening to the Power Producers Podcast. You can follow Killing Commercial Insurance on Facebook and YouTube. And if you want to take your game to the next level, check out our book, The Extra 2 Minutes, and our website, killingcommercial.com.